Hello, everybody. It's a couple of minutes early. I'm going to play some copyright music for anybody that comes wandering into the chat. I'm going to fix a cup of coffee. I'm about, I don't know, 4 minutes early. I'll play some music, which is going to be about 4.5 minutes long. So I hope everybody's doing well. Today is January 4, 2025. Hello, hi con artists, welcome. I thought I'd play a little music so that people realize that I'm here in case I walk away. It's copyright-free music, Shine, by Onyx, Onycs. Oh, it's okay. I understand about falling asleep. Hi, Dream You. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. So there is copyright-free music for anybody that has a channel and wants to use music. It's called Breaking Music, no copyright. The only thing you have to do is mention the artist's name and the title of the song. They have all different kinds. Oh, you're kidding. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, I don't hear it until after I upload this when the chat ends, and I heard it last week. It was around the 9-minute mark. It's deliberate. It's sort of like I guess some kind of V2K in the background. It's very annoying. It's echoing my words, the creepo. Yeah, they're really wanting to sabotage everything. They hit me in the arm yesterday while I was sitting here at the laptop. I think they hit me with an energy weapon because it really hurts. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. I see that there are 7 people and only one little thumb. I need more thumbs. Please hit the thumbs up. Yeah, they sabotage just everything. Hi, Dick. How are you? It's cold out. It's cold. The artwork that I'm displaying on my channel, I own. They're not, I did not paint them. I did not draw them. It's not that I couldn't, because I painted and drew a lot in high school. My father was very artistic. He taught me how to paint, and I drew the logo for the cat rescue. I don't have the time. I don't have the space. But what I do is, it's my little guilty pleasure, except for like chocolate. They're called ACEOs. They're really tiny. They're 2.5 by 3 inches, and they're hand painted. It could be any modality. It could be acrylic. It could be oil painting, watercolor. And I bid on them on eBay. Some of them you could just buy them outright. But the hummingbird was an oil painting. I mean, some of them are just really pretty. Oh, your name is really Dave. Okay. I love the animals. I really like the fox that I just got. I have a fox here on the property. I was even thinking to myself, like, when I move, like, I'm gonna have to trap that fox. I want that fox. I want him to come with me. And the fox has been so good. Like tonight, my 3 guineas would not go in the coop. It was really driving me nuts. And the fox was out. And fox likes to eat birds. And I was getting so frustrated. And the fox is looking at me like he's looking at the birds. He's looking at me. I'm telling him not to don't eat my birds. I left you eggs. You're getting hit in the ear and temple. That's exactly what they do. Yes. And what I've noticed is the tinnitus that I have here gets more intense. Like after I do my daily chores and stuff, like at night, they deliberately harass me at night. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. Yeah, the sabotage, it's like Zerzetzung. There's a new person that contacted me today. I'm not going to tell his name or whatever, and I'll probably read some of what he sent to me, because after he saw the videos of my grass, he sent me photos of his grass, and he told me that it's glyphosate, which is really bad. Really bad stuff. But his grass looks just like mine. and he's a former military guy, so he knows all about this stuff. I guess he's somewhat of a whistleblower. Not on the level of, like a Karen Stewart, um, but evidently you're a whistleblower just for exerting your rights, just by filing a complaint, disagreeing with someone. Oh, well, good for you. You don't get tinnitus that much, just sharp pain, and it seems to be from one direction and at home, nowhere else. Well, that's interesting, because they have it all set up by where you live, which is incredible, that we are harassed inside of our homes, which is supposed to be our safe place. I mean, especially when we're sleeping, they assault us. I don't get the hearing. I don't hear the voices, but from what I understand, there are two types of V2K. And one is the one where you actually hear people speaking to you. Yeah, glyphosate, common weed killer. He says that that's what they're using. That's one of the things that they're probably using, but they're also using some kind of a slime mold. Somebody told me it could be a kerosene mold. It's extremely greasy and slippery. Um, yeah, and then the other V2K is the one that you don't hear, which allegedly is more harmful because you're not hearing the words. It's more subliminal. The kerosene, right? It's very greasy. And I looked it up. I actually asked ChatGPT about kerosene mold, and it really does exist. It's a fungus that grows inside of, um, airplane or wherever kerosene is, and they have to get rid of it somehow. Oh, that's so interesting. When you hear anything, your husband hears it too, so it's not imaginary. Somebody else told me that. Somebody else told me that their spouse can hear this the voice. Now I've heard that you can record it. Um, it has to be in a really quiet space. And this is actually, I asked look out for Charlie, and he says, yeah, just get a digital recorder, and like when you're sleeping or whatever, but there has to be no extraneous sounds. When it's really quiet, like during the day, that's not the case. There's all kinds of sounds going on during the day. But at night, like right before you're going to sleep, I don't always remember it because I'm usually so tired. I've also found that while I'm sleeping, I've attempted to play music, harp music or any kind of music, to interfere with whatever it is that they're doing to me. And they literally stop the music after I fall asleep. So I'll wake up and I'll see that the music that I was that I was listening to, that could be maybe 3 hours or 4 hours long, has literally stopped, after an hour. So there is something that they're doing to prevent the music from playing all night long. So you're married to another TI. It's been amazing, very validating. We laugh about things all the time. Well, actually, there are some parts of targeting that are literally ridiculously, I guess. I guess if you want to call it funny, it's just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. Yeah, the glyphosate. Other people have mentioned this as being a problem because this weed killer, it doesn't stay exactly where you put it. And also, it affects the groundwater. I hear you. Hi, Elsie. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. Let's see who we got here. Monter2244. Yeah, well, the thing is about freedom. Do any of us have real freedom? I mean, think about our perpy criminals. Do you think they have freedom? Yes, 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. So we talk all night and went to bed at 3 a.m. Oh, well, that's interesting because around here, and I go to bed around 3 a.m. also, but that's the witchy poo hour, The witches come out. They love to be prancing around on the property between 4 and 6 a.m. Yeah, you're tired of the isolation and all the BS. It is BS. It's all a distraction. It's chaos. These people are addicted to chaos, and I'm highly allergic to it. Oh, you have the brown patches on your lawn. They're doing you a favor because your lawn is mostly weeds. Well, I didn't have that many weeds on my property. I had a lot of clover. Like I do have a lot of clover, but I don't really look at that as a weed. Although compared to New Jersey, I had really pretty grass in New Jersey, like real grass, not like farm grass. Farm grass is very different than like a lawn grass. Yeah, I mean it's very different, like living on a farm than living in the suburbs. So how was everybody's New Year? New Year's Eve. Did you watch the ball drop? Did you have plans? Did you go out to dinner? Did you make any resolutions? The last video that I uploaded, the sharing testimony story with a woman from New Jersey who moved to Florida, as soon as I uploaded it, it wasn't even uploaded like a nanosecond. They demonetized it. So I have to try to get it. I have it under review now. It's just, it's unbelievable what they two are doing to videos. And it's not just me. Like other YouTube creators are complaining that they're getting less views. They're not being recommended. And these are some big channels. So we'll see. I mean, I did probably a dozen videos, and I didn't know that they were not monetized at the time. I had no idea, but I submitted them for review, and all except one came back where they remonetized it. But a lot of times I'll upload a video and I don't even realize whether the monetization is on or not. So it always helps to listen to the entire video, because what happens with YouTube, like the algorithm is really weird. Like it used to be just having views was enough to get your video recommended, but it's not like that anymore. Now it's more about listening to the entire video from beginning to end, like even if you're just listening to the background. where they start recommending the video. But I have a lot of perpetrators coming into my channel lately, neighborhood creepos, the hillbilly mafia. And they've been downvoting the videos and harassing me on Facebook. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. I see like there are 16 people here. So I've got a couple of things that I'm going to read also. Let's see. I have a new book. I purchased it from a YouTube creator, John Lang. And he wrote this book, The Civil Rights Hand Guide, A Citizen's Guide to Navigating Police Encounters. And let's see, I've got a couple of bookmarks in here. I've got a few books here that I'll probably read from. So let's see. Okay. I'm going to skip around a little bit with this, but it's important to understand that civil rights extends to everyone, that they have singled us out, but yet they can't confirm or deny that we're on any list, but have taken our rights away from us is absurd and makes no sense. They can't say that we're not on a list. They can't say we can't confirm or deny in the name of national security when it's so obvious to us that our rights have been stripped. And even people, when they're incarcerated, their rights are not stripped. The Dreamy says, I noticed the street skit show is almost completely gone. Now I just have cop escort, or maybe the mind control is not working. Well, I think what happens is they have different granting programs. I guess every neighborhood is different. Every program is different. But they apply for grants. And when the grants come in, when the money comes in, then it gets busier. What I've noticed since I've lived here, my neighbor, the one that tore down the gate, the one with the big mouth and stuff, they have a pattern of not harassing me during the winter time. Like December, January, February, and usually the harassment starts up again in March. So I don't know if it's because of whatever payment schedule these people on, whatever contracts they have. Contracts do begin and end. I mean, I would imagine that some of them are continuous, but that's not the way the granting program works. You have to apply for a grant, the money, you have to get approved. You have to prove what you're using the money for, which of course they're lying through their teeth on our program. And then the money has to come in and get disseminated again. And they never know exactly what how much money is going to be and where it's going to go. Plus, some of the people that are harassing us, just remember this, people do disappear. People do have family issues. Sometimes they have to move away. Sometimes there's going to be a replacement that will be different. If you notice something different about your harassment, it could be because the main person involved has passed away, has moved away, has extraneous issues to deal with. People leave jobs also. Just because somebody is hired to harass us doesn't mean they're going to be in that position forever. And then again, if somebody leaves that position and they have to replace that person, the types of things that they do may differ. Or there may be a gap in between that person and the new person. Maybe because the bots are not driving in the snow. Well, that's a whole nother thing too. When the weather is really bad, it is around here. When the weather is really bad, it's actually dangerous to drive down this county road. There are no street lights, and because of the trees, there is not any sun going into the road, so it can be very slippery. Now, please remember to hit the thumbs up. I see 17 people. The main person involved offed himself, sad but true. Is that true? I mean, it's very possible. I was reading that recently, that for some people, you may just suddenly notice that your harassment has stopped. And it could be that the main person passed away, got fired, resigned, anything. Life happens to everybody. You just never know. Another thing that I heard is that the funding, like the person that nominated me, for instance, maybe there's extra money from a psychopath that has a lot of money that may be funding it. They may stop funding it. People are hurting everywhere. The economy is not good. People have lost a lot of money in the stock market. So it could be that, whatever psychopath narcissist was helping fund the torture has stopped funding it. Yeah, they'll get their karma. Exactly. Absolutely. So there are any number of reasons why the targeting will either get worse or lessen. And then, of course, your local perpetrators, like, I've already named them all. They've already been caught. They've already been named. They're already on video. They've already been, outed. They're going to have to get some new people. Otherwise, they're going to get arrested. So let's see what you say here. Yeah, they're going to get their karma. You got skidded at the local McDonald's. And I said, wouldn't it be funny if they closed? The next day they were permanently closed. Oh, wow. Yeah, you never know. Never know. And if some of them have families, they have family issues that come up, and then there's the holidays, all of that. So in this book, the Civilian Rights Hand Guide, he says the importance of understanding our rights extends beyond individual encounters. It has profound implications for society as a whole. When citizens are knowledgeable about their legal protections, they serve as a check against the misuse of authority. This collective awareness fosters accountability and encourages law enforcement to adhere to legal standards and ethical practices. In essence, an informed populace helps maintain the delicate balance of power between the government and the people. This balance is absolutely essential for the functioning of a healthy democracy. Oh, yeah, con artist says, oh, and yes, and then they're updating their plan for you, so to speak. Well, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're going to have to update their plan because I'm definitely moving this year. And you would ask me the question, well, if I don't move, like my goal is to move. My goal is to sell this place no matter what. I want out of here. And I know the targeting follows me wherever I go, but let them pay some more money. Since they have so much money, they'll have to relocate also. But it won't be local, I can assure you. So, with regard to these knowing your rights, because if you don't know your rights, you don't know when they're being violated. And the thing is, with targeted people, we do have to know the law. The law is really important. It's sort of like when my stupid neighbor a couple of years ago told me that I was spotlighting her with my spotlight. Okay, so I looked up the laws in Kentucky. And ironically, these losers drive down the county road with these huge lights on, their brights and everything, chasing after snakes to shoot them. whatever they want to do, fine. But literally, they're breaking the law by driving down the county road with these bright lights on. And the fact that my property is so large and extends across the street, and I use a flashlight when I walk, especially since these losers have torn down 3 of my motion sensor lights. I've got to put them back up again. Oh, yeah, they do that with the tires. I noticed that the last time I went into town, there's like a little repair shop there. I got air in my tires, and I have to actually go and get the oil changed, but I have to schedule an appointment for that. Reflecting on history, we see numerous examples where the erosion of individual liberties have led to the rise of oppressive regimes. When a society becomes complacent about its rights, or worse, ignorant of them, it opens the door to abuses of power that can dismantle the very foundations of freedom. The stories of authoritarian states often begin with the gradual encroachment of personal liberties justified under the guise of security, like we've heard that before, security or order, and facilitated by a populace that is either uninformed or apathetic. And hence the rise of the police auditors on YouTube. They know the laws, they speak the laws. And in some instances, like I look at them as like they're really like a little bit instigating trouble by being a little too close, but nevertheless, they have a right to record in public. So, understanding your rights is not merely an academic exercise, it is a fundamental aspect of our participation in a free and just society. The philosophical underpinnings of individual liberty are deeply entwined with the concept of the rule of law. The rule of law asserts that every person is subject to the law, including lawmakers and enforcers, ensuring fairness and equality. Well, unfortunately, that's not really true because, well, I mean, it is true, but in reality, that's not what's happening. Because obviously, for people being placed in this program where there are millions of us, we're not a couple of hundred. There is not just a couple of hundred of us, and it's not even a couple of thousand anymore. There are millions of us that they have placed in this program for profit, for harassment, for torture. When citizens are informed about their rights, they are better equipped to hold institutions accountable, reinforcing the rule of law. That's why whenever I send a cease and desist letter to my neighbors, I write the appropriate law that they're violating. Conversely, a society that neglects the education of its citizens in legal matters risks sliding into a state where laws are applied arbitrarily and justice becomes a privilege rather than a guarantee. Education about constitutional rights encourages citizens to engage with societal issues, participate in democratic processes, and advocate for reforms when necessary. And I just want to add, I'm a little bit older than probably everybody that's in the chat, but I will tell you as a fact that I never in school learned anything about the Constitution. It wasn't taught. And you would think, like back then, that they would be teaching us this stuff. I don't remember ever learning anything about the Constitution. Being knowledgeable about your rights is also a form of self-respect and personal empowerment. It affirms your dignity as an individual and your role as an active participant in society. Own backwards always gets censored online, so we know what's doing this. This self-assuredness can influence how you carry yourself in various situations and can potentially project a level of confidence that deters violations of your rights. It also enables you to assist others who may be less informed and foster a supportive community where people look out for one another. In practical terms, understanding your rights can also de-escalate potentially tense situations, help you avoid unnecessary legal troubles, and potentially save your life. Being aware of legal procedures and protocols allows you to recognize when they are not being followed and enables you to take appropriate action afterwards, such as filing a complaint or seeking legal counsel. Knowing your rights empowers you to make informed decisions, protect yourself from potential abuses of power, and contribute to the preservation of civil liberties in the form of the bedrock of a democratic society. Philosophically, the existence of police reflects our collective agreement to abide by certain rules for the greater good. Laws are not merely edicts imposed from above, they are manifestations of societal norms and ethics that have evolved over time. The police embody the enforcement of these laws, allegedly. Hi, Battlefield Rain. Let's see. How many TIs out there tonight, and where is everyone generally located? I'm 40-year-old, TI from Utah since 2018, targeting out here, professional, dark, sick, and twisted. Yes, it is sick and twisted everywhere. Exactly. We well, if people want to, I know. Well, we've got one person from New Zealand here. I'm in my 60s. I'm here in Kentucky, originally from New Jersey. Well, actually, I'm not originally from New Jersey. I'm originally from New York. From New York, moved to Queens, the Bronx, moved to New York City, then moved to Queens, moved to New Jersey, and then here. To be fully prepared for encounters with law enforcement, you need to think about not just the immediate interaction, but also the legal processes that might follow. I understand that the costs and difficulties of accessing legal help can make this option out of reach for many people, which is a sad reality that highlights socioeconomic problems within our justice system. These issues show disparities that deserve attention and change, but this book isn't meant to push for systemic reform or delve into the economic factors that affect access to justice. Instead, this book is intended to serve as a practical guide that presents, let's see, pertinent facts, laws, court rulings, and legal concepts as they currently are understood. By providing clear and comprehensive understanding of the legal landscape as it exists today, my goal is to empower everyday citizens with the tools they need to be safe and informed during police encounters. I'm just skipping forward. The reality is that most police officers are dedicated professionals committed to serving and protecting their communities who perform their duties with integrity and often under challenging circumstances. Similarly, the vast majority of citizens are responsible individuals who respect the law and contribute positively to society. It's important to acknowledge this mutual commitment to civility and order as the foundation of effective community policing and a functioning society. I'm just going to move on to the next, my next little tabby here. Oh, hi, Casper. Welcome, welcome. So Con Artist says he's 54. Battlefield Rain is 40. He's in Utah. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. What I'm doing is I'm reading from a book that I just got, the Civil Rights Hand Guide, a citizen's guide to navigating police encounters. It's written by John Lang, who's got a YouTube channel. Actually, he's got 2 YouTube channels. So then he goes on to talk about the Constitution and civilian rights. He says interpreting the antiquated language of the Constitution and applying it to modern police encounters often requires a case-by-case examination of the relevant facts, which has resulted in a complex web of laws, rulings, jurisprudence that is difficult for almost anyone to fully comprehend. Nonetheless, all the legal nuance surrounding police interactions relies on the foundation built by the Constitution, and possessing a basic understanding of how this document relates to modern police encounters can dramatically improve your ability to navigate a police encounter of your own. Okay, LZ, Arkansas, 69 years old. And you're 50. Dick or Dave is 50. Okay, so right now we're all over 40. Casper T is 55. So we're seeing a lot of people in the 50s here, 50s and 60s. Oh, and yeah, we're the domestic terrorists. AZ Dog says, I can't make up the loser stuff my perps do 24/7. Just waiting for a reaction or some way to try and set me up. It's so pathetic. Well, yeah, that's what they do. That's what they're paid to do. They remind me of, back in junior high school, there was always like that kid in the back of the classroom that was always caused trouble. Always wanting attention. And everybody else just wanted to ignore him. But it was usually that one kid that made it bad for everybody else in the classroom. Could you imagine waking up every day? Imagine being a perp. You wake up every day and you're given an assignment to drive by somebody's house 4, 5, 6 times, waiting for them to come out so you could photograph them. Could you imagine what a life that is? I know. AZ Dog says, I can't even go in the backyard or take out the trash without a whole script in place. Oh, I know. As soon as you walk out the door, you hear the engines roaring in the background here. So I see there are 21 people and only 12 little thummies. So the Constitution and civil rights. The Constitution has been interpreted by various courts in many ways through the years, and though there is a litany of rulings and doctrines deciphering the complexities of each amendment, analyzing the actual language of these amendments can serve as a valuable tool for understanding your rights. The Constitution contains a total of 27 amendments, covering a broad range of topics, but only 6 of these directly apply to everyday police interactions. So there's the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, the Eighth Amendment, and the 14th Amendment. Understanding these 6 amendments will build a foundation of civil rights knowledge that will not only allow you to navigate police interactions safely, but will also open the door to gaining a deeper understanding of the legal system as a whole. Each of these amendments plays their own vital role in ensuring that every American in this country is treated fairly by any government agent. So let's see what you're saying. Yeah, the Milgram experiment. Yes, yes, yes. 1/3 of the population are perpetrators. 1/3 are like the targeted people. And the third in the middle can go either way. They swing both ways. Those are the ones that they'll either become perps or they'll become targeted. Some old skit jumped out of the car and took a picture of a TI friend at work, then got back in the car. Even the coworker said, "What the hell was that about?" And AZ Dog says, "I notice that every time I'm relaxed and calm, it's when they amplify the harassment in order to keep me in an anxiety and paranoid state." That's exactly right. Yep. They can't stand it when you're relaxed and calm because they're addicted to chaos. Dreamy says, AZ, just observe and deny any reaction and they will stop. Well, that's true in some instances, but when you go to your mailbox and there is a skinned dead animal stuffed in there, it's kind of hard to ignore. I mean, they deliberately do things here where I have no choice but to pay attention. Casper says, deep breathing, hot belly style, through the nose and out the mouth slowly helps. That's true. That's true. The First Amendment is, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercises thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or press or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Yeah, yes. Yeah, so Casper says the program spits at you what is happening, so feelings of love to help fight back. Dream you says, yeah, you get it worse than all of us, Lorraine. I'm sorry. Well, thank you. I've been in this program for a dozen years. And I remember when I came into the program and started talking about what was happening to me. And this is back with the old targeted justice. I remember Midge Mathis said she'd never heard of the kind of targeting that I was getting at the time. She thought it was off the charts. And it is. It's absolutely off the charts ridiculous. Why? I mean, it's just crazy. Yeah, you told me about the 2 different cars driving into houses. That's crazy. Yeah, the stuff that they come up with. Dave says, what happened to Ella Free? Well, she was part of Targeted Justice at one time, and then she left there, and she started her podcast, Freedom. Was it Freedom for Targeted Individuals or something like that? She had her podcast and stuff, and then she would selectively, because she's very spiteful, she would selectively start removing the interviews, the testimony interviews, which is evidence. And then she shut the whole thing down. She got rid of the website. The domain name is up for sale, and just disappeared without telling anybody. announcing it to the people who had been listening to her for all those years. In my opinion, and this is just an opinion for educational purposes, I don't think she's targeted. I don't think she was ever targeted. But I mean, why would you take down the testimonies of people, some of which are not even here anymore? It is very weird. It makes you wonder if she wasn't like an agent, she's just a paid person. Maybe she had a contract just like all these other people, and that's why these people disappear. They're under contract, and then when the contract ends, they're gone. And then they've got new people that come in. They start interviewing, or I mean, look at all these new officers with all the fancy names and stuff that TJ now has. Like every time I look, they have somebody else that they have scooped up to be on their board of directors as an officer or whatever. Like what? Like why do you need this many people? Yeah, exactly. Exact a psyop. That's exactly right. Dreamy says grocery stores used to be bad. Try to drive their scooter into you. Oh my! And they drove into the milk freezer and got stuck in it. It was like the Three Stooges moment. It's kind of funny. Yeah. Well, the First Amendment guarantees the citizens of the United States have 5 main protections, which of course don't apply to us, right? 5 main protections: the freedom of religion, prohibits the government from establishing an official religion or favoring one religion over another, and also guarantees individuals the right to practice their religion freely without government interference. 2, the freedom of speech. We could all have a collective laugh over this one. Freedom of speech. This freedom protects individuals' rights to express their opinions and ideas without government censorship or restraint. But of course, if you piss off the wrong government official, you too can be placed on a watch list for the rest of your life. It covers a wide range of expression, including spoken words, written communication, symbolic speech, and expressive acts. Then there's freedom of the press. Oh yeah, you can ask Julian Assange about that. Freedom of the press. This freedom ensures that the press can operate independently and report news without government control or censorship. It is essential for a functioning democracy as it allows for the dissemination of information and holds the governments accountable to its citizens. Hi, HMM. Hi, welcome. I'm reading from the book The Civilian Rights Hand Guide, A Citizen's Guide to Navigating Police Encounters. Let's see, Elsie says Catherine Horton went to Mar-a-Lago. She and Bill was on the Still report. Oh, is that recently? Catsmati says it's a rare opportunity to face one working on their side. Tempting. Well, then there's number 4, the freedom to assemble. This freedom allows citizens to gather peacefully for demonstrations, protests, and other collective activities, and ensures that people can come together to express their views and advocate for change without government intervention. Yeah, yes, the government definitely lost control. Absolutely. This program might not even be planetary. Well, it's bad. It has to change. Something has to change. We need to shut down these fusion centers. Now here's number 5, which is part of the First Amendment: the freedom to petition the government. This is a constitutional right. The freedom to petition the government. This freedom grants individuals the right to make their grievances known to the government and request action or changes in policy. It includes the ability to gather signatures for petitions, lobby government officials, and file lawsuits. In the context of police interactions, the First Amendment protects your right to express dissent against the government or its agents, such as police officers or other public officials, as well as the right to record and document any encounters you have with them. It also protects your right to protest against the police, public officials, or any other cause you are compelled to demonstrate for. If a member of law enforcement or any other government official silences your speech because they don't like what you're saying, stops you from recording a police interaction in a public place, or prevents you from filing a complaint against them, then they have violated your First Amendment rights. Well, I know for a fact that many police officers of the Manalapan Police Department in New Jersey have absolutely violated my First Amendment rights. Exactly. Their methods are inhumane, their hatred is palpable. There's no government oversight. There's none. It's horrific. But I want to read, and I'll probably do a separate video on it, but I just want to read you a couple of things from this new subscriber. 1 second. Let me get into my mail here. One second. Yeah, so I received an email this evening. I won't mention the name yet, and I'll probably, read this little bit of a testimony in a separate video. Good afternoon, ma'am. I too am a targeted individual and friend of Karen Stewart. Even though I haven't been able to contact her in 2 years via her cell phone, I heard she was in hiding due to the class action suit after someone threatened her life. These people are cowardice. They're demonic, jealous lowlifes of every walk of life. Living in Georgia, it's mostly militant blacks, with the Paulding County Sheriff's Department overseeing the harassment. He says, I spoke out against a corrupt building contractor, LGI Homes, and the elected sheriff, Gary Gullidge, in Paulding County, Dallas, Georgia. He sent me some photos of what his grass looks like. It looks just like mine. Looks just like mine. He says, I also know they can unleash spirits or astral project themselves. It's hard to say actually what method they're using. It's evil, cowardice, and illegal either way. He says, I served with Tip of the Spear men. These degenerates are far from the caliber, class, or level of capabilities of those I serve with. They're more like the B or C team, who are immature, narcissistic, and incompetent. They're trying to make up for their failures and inferiority in life. They're bullies, more than true performers and patriots. If you ask a Navy SEAL if he is one, he will deny it. And if you say they're tough, they will tell you you can kick their ass. They're humble and taught never to disclose who they are or their capabilities, especially on active duty. These tools in bold print are mimicking military attacks, military tactics, and using them for evil intimidation practices and personal gains on non combatants. If I had to guess, they were former infinitesimal infantry idiots, bottom of the barrel military personnel trained with equipment beyond their pay grade. Law enforcement and politicians should be afraid. These idiots have been proven to use on themselves, also known as Havana syndrome. They're idiots. The devil eats his own eventually. They will all be targeted one day. So that's the end of that letter. Let me see what else we've got here from him. Yeah, so he showed me photos of his grass that looks just like mine, and he said they're using glyphosate, that it's a weed killer, that it will kill the grass for 6 months at a time, just like with Monsanto products. Like it's called the weed begone. It's all carcinogenic, also. That's why I have never walked on my grass. Would you imagine, living on all this beautiful acreage and I have never walked barefoot on my grass because I believe it's toxic? I feel bad for my animals that are walking on it. So he says, they hit me with directed energy weapons that actually dissolve and atrophy the muscles in my body to include the chest, shoulders, elbows, and forearms. Previously, I went through the attacks to the heart, 190 over 110 BP, 3 years straight. Kidneys attack. Now I've got 4 lumps on both sides of my lower back. Massive headaches, blurred vision, resulting in cataracts, and burns, white spots on my skin, evidence of radiation exposure. They are demonic, government, sociopathic sadists. They recruit neighbors and even family after making up lies about our mental health or possible physical threat to ourselves or others. They're all lies. We would never hurt ourselves or others. We're Christians, military veterans, or intelligent whistleblowers. Then he says, may the Lord bless and keep and protect and heal all targeted individuals worldwide. Exactly. Yeah, even military is being targeted, even SEALs and Secret Service guys. The guy whose letter I just read to you, he's a Navy guy. Hi, SCL, welcome. Okay, the Independent News says Alex Jones doesn't talk about this stuff. Callers call in and they just blow it off. Surely they are stalked all day long. Yeah, they do. I think it's disgusting to be stalking a pregnant woman, right? That's really bad. Carrying a baby. Casper T says, I have a theory. They're all targeted, including Jones. They talk loudly that they work for the government and that they also show off by saying things like, I work for the police. Casper T says, everyone in politics, Hollywood are targeted. Look at that Allie Carter said recently regarding Diddy and the codes. Yeah, just as a side, a few years ago, Dr. Catherine Horton, she compiled one of the best questionnaires for targeted people that I've ever seen. It was so thorough. Are you getting the background noise, Jerry? Are you getting that creepy man's voice? Oh, you're getting a. Okay. All right. Please remember to hit the thumbs up. Exactly. Some are paid, controlled opposition. You hear that creepy voice? It fades in and out. Like I noticed last week when I played back the chat, when I played back the video, that creepy voice kind of chimed in around 9 minutes. I don't speak with Dr. Horton. When she had that questionnaire, I'd emailed her back and forth a couple of times because there were a couple of things that I was not sure on. I had to download the creepy voices there. I can't stand that. I don't know what to do. Maybe if we tell YouTube, they'll figure out what it is. I think it's just something that they're doing to the chat. These people are very technically adept, obviously, and they're utilizing subliminal information. I'm sure in these that creepy voice. See, I don't hear it. I don't hear it during this live. I only hear it when I play back the video. And it's not throughout the entire video because it's not through the whole 2 hours. It's at certain points. I don't have a TV. No, I don't have a TV or radio playing in the background. The only thing I have in back of my laptop is a little tiny fan. You hear EMF noise? Yeah, it sounds like a voice. I don't hear anything now, but when I go to end the video and then play it back, I always hear like this creepy voice. So last week it was around 9 minutes, and then around again 11 minutes. It might be in my fan. Yeah, last week it was like real, like mumbling, like a man's mumbling voice. It's not the first time I've heard that when I've played back the live. Like, a live from a couple of weeks ago had that weird voice in it too. And I have turned off my fan, and you guys have told me that you can still hear the creepy voice. Casper says, to know who is targeting the world, identify who is never opposed. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Now I've got another book here. I've read from this book before. It's How to Deal with and Defeat Gang Stalkers by Chomi, Prag. It is not. The program. Well, this is the thing. When you say the program is not human, well, a lot of it is automated now with technology, with computers, with algorithms and stuff. But I believe that many of the people that are involved are personality disordered. So because they're personality disordered, malignant narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, or whatever, it's very difficult to understand the mindset of those individuals. So it would be easy for anybody to maybe be the misguided belief that the program is not human, when literally, collectively, the people at the highest levels of government are psychopaths. They don't care about us. They look at us as being tools to use. I mentioned it. Hi, Matson Miles. How are you? How are you feeling? And you're home, right? Greetings from the rural Midwest. Yes. Yes. Yes, I had mentioned to Charlie about the noise in my chat on his channel, but not directly. Like, I haven't sent him an email directly. Out of the blue, he contacted me, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, asking me some questions about something. So I provided him like the information that he was looking for, and I didn't hear back from him. So Casper T says the paperwork is known. The discovery of the human phenomenon of reception of these frequencies was documented, and it went from there. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear you're fine. The program is considered referred to as humans. I've seen that. I think Edward Snowden mentioned that also. So let's see if my mic is picking up on the satellite microbe voices projecting into my home, or background chatter from hackers on the back end of her electronics. Well, that's interesting. That's certainly a possibility. Oh, microwave voices. Okay. Oh, okay. I see. I see. You're probably speaking into your phone. Yeah, and they have, it's not a smartphone. It's really not smart. I've been saying that. Like, I don't have the smartest phone on the planet, but it's also older. But do you think by now that would understand what my diction is? Microwave voices. That my mic is picking up on satellite microwave voices projected onto my home, or background chatter from hackers. I'm sure he would. Perhaps maybe if a couple of us email him, he'll have a look at it. I mean, he's so busy. I mean, he's mentioned how long it takes him to dissect an audio. I would love for him to listen in. We'd have to send him a copy with it marked, what time stamp to listen to. Because, the chat is usually, 2 hours, and I'm sure he's not going to comb through 2 hours. Charlie says he's behind on posting some videos because so much happened this week. There's so much going on in the news. It's crazy. I mean, it's just every day it's something else. So I'm just going to step away to rush to the restroom for a minute, and then I'll come back, and I'm going to read Let's see what I have bookmarked here. I'm going to read some of how to deal with and defeat gang stalkers. This is about phones. Clues that you're under surveillance. I mean, most of us know this, but sometimes in reading it from somebody else, there's something that you might not have heard before. So I'll be right back. Okay. Let's see what I missed. I'm certainly interested. Charlie says behind. No. Microwave voices. Listening to gay. Oh, that's a con artist. That happened to me also. So he says Celeste Solum spoke about implants that she went through the airport scanner and one of them was red. They pulled her aside and asked her if she had an infection. A week later, she got a bad UTI. That's so interesting. So let's see what he said here. SDL says, Lorraine, did you ever find out what the lady wanted that was asking if you were selling your property? Was that on a video? I ignore these people most of the time. So MSQD says it would seem like these intruders into our lives also have the ability to transmit visual distortions into our sensory. Well, the technology absolutely exists for that. In addition, they don't even need the technology. All they can do is poison your food, and that could happen also. Yeah, Matson. Yeah, Charlie, he does. He's got a pretty good line on the psychology behind these shootings. I don't agree 100% with everything, but he's open to my mind to quite a bit of new ideas. Yes. Oh yes, SCL. What it was. That video was I think it was that I had a sign out that for the eggs for sale. that was a little bit older video. I've been reposting some of my older videos that are 2 years old because there are so many people that haven't viewed them. And in case you know where to look for them on the channel, because there are like 2,100 videos, you wouldn't necessarily know where they are. Hi, Bernadette. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. So, Bernadette, I read a little bit from a book, The Civilian Rights Hand Guide, A Citizen's Guide to Navigating Police Encounters, and about our constitutional rights. And I'm going to read a little bit about How to Deal with and Defeat Gang Stalkers by Chomi, Prag. She was the one taking photos on a recent video. Yeah, that I don't have a for sale sign on my property. Even when I listed it with an agent, I specifically said that I did not want a for sale sign on the property for like safety reasons. I don't need my neighbors harassing me. They are on me like white on rice. They'll know if it goes on the market. They'll look for it in the paper. They listen to what I say. They have my phone hacked, my laptop hacked. That one that was recently taking photos, over the summer, I had a eggs for sale sign, but it could be for any reason. But no, even when the house was listed with a realtor, I did not have a for sale sign out there. So people just drive by and take photos. They've been doing it since the day I moved here. In fact, on my Facebook page, I've got several Facebook pages, but the one for targeting is called Community Stalking Vandalism Patterns. The banner there is somebody that I photographed, that I caught photographing my property. She didn't realize that the car that was pulling out or pulling in to my driveway contained me in the back seat. And she was photographing my property. I didn't have a chance to watch Celeste's video. I am subscribed to her. She seems like such a sweet woman. So here are some of the cues that you're under surveillance, as if you don't know already. But I don't know if there's anybody new in the background. Look, I see that there's 27 people listening and 19 thumbs up. So if you guys want to hit the thumbs up, that would be helpful. So here are some cues that you're under surveillance. They play games. One very common thing you can do to find out if people are listening or watching you when they claim they're not, or claim that there aren't any cameras or listening devices, or pretending there aren't any, is to do or say something and see what happens. See if it comes out into the open. Watch for people's reactions. For instance, say that you're going to do something and see how people around you react. Do something and see if someone reveals that which you've done. Say something and see how people react. See if you get those nasty stares. Oh, thank you, STL, for posting my photos. I appreciate that. I want people to see not only what's happening to me, but it might be happening to them. And then seeing what these photos, they'll say, well, wait a minute, that's happening to me too. So Madsen says, my eyes have gotten much harder to keep focus recently. I tend to wipe them more often, have to concentrate, bring them into focus. I blame them. The last time I went to the doctor, he carved a V. Yeah, they're into that V, aren't they? Thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Once you step out of line, they try to put you back in control. That's exactly what they did to my shoulder yesterday. They hit me with an energy weapon. So Bernadette says, I bought Kleenex packets and went to my drawer and they took them all but one. The perps take things and also put my utensils in different places. Yeah, that's what they do. That's exactly what they do. They emptied half of my toothpaste, like a new toothpaste. Oh, great. Thank you, SDL. Very good. Very good. Were you able to keep up the triangle, the cut? I think that's the image that people that look other platforms will blur the image. Yes, we have to be careful around doctors and also their hypnotic practice in disguise. Absolutely. Absolutely. M. Honor says, I've been put on a waiting list for a relationship. While they spend time and money go against my livelihood, it makes me wonder. Yeah, I think we're all on a watch list, wait list for a relationship. They slash on top of your head through your hat with a mic. They can do that. They absolutely can do that. I mean, look at what they did to my arm. And nothing happened to my sweatshirt or my shirt. It was so bizarre. Well, the interesting thing is this is how I was able to tell that my eyesight was not anything other than that they were personally affecting me. When I moved from New Jersey to Kentucky, for the first time in a long time, the tinnitus stopped. My hair grew back. My vision reverted back to its 2020. I had all my energy. My sleep cycle completely changed to its normal sleep cycle for the whole time that I was sleeping in my car at the top of the hill. When I moved into this house in July of 2019, that all changed. My hair started falling out. My legs started vibrating. I had sores all over my legs. Oh, it was horrible. Like it was just horrible. It was a nightmare. It still is. Yeah, black magic has to do with some of it. See, the thing with their magic, with their rituals, once you're aware of what they're doing, it doesn't have an effect on you anymore. It's sort of like, like when the neighbors drive by and they call you names. They start calling you names. Well, they can call me anything they want because I know that it's not true. I know who I am. I know it's not true. So it doesn't affect me other than that it's annoying. Like it doesn't affect my person. It just annoys me. Like I just want them to get the fuck mind your own business. They act like children. They're worse than children. You said your dad's family's from the top of the mountain. Yeah, I can't stand. I mean, it's so immature. It's so It's depraved. It's just depraved. I can't wrap my mind around the mindset of a person that does these things. Like you couldn't pay me to do that. You just couldn't pay me to do it. Yes, exactly. They use witchcraft as a psychological warfare too. Absolutely. Yeah, I call it bitchcraft. Like I'm aware of what they're doing. I know what they're doing. Oh, is that right? Eating vegetarian reduces the V2K, people have noticed. Well, I've been a vegetarian for most of my life. I mean, that may be why I don't hear voices. I just have like loud, nasty tinnitus. So let's see, it says here you can have some fun with surveillance if you don't take it too seriously. I've been doing this for over here for a while, and I had no idea my words were as important or taken as seriously as the words of the Lord in the Bible. See if your secrets come out in the open, whether people disclose things that you thought were private. Like I said, try to keep a sense of humor about you. What do you have to lose? Max says we mostly get poisoned and gassed. His wife gets mobbed at her job. She's working at a Walmart, filling orders for pickup. Oh, hi, Mrs. How are you? Good evening. And M Honor says I feel like I got a curse on my relationship. Oh well, they curse all of our relationships. It's not a curse. It's slander. You know, they've got your phone hacked, your emails, and they spread lies about you. Then, of course, another clue that you're under surveillance is irregularities with electronic equipment. Radios with sudden, unexplained interference at home or in your car is a common sign that surveillance devices are operating on frequencies close to radio bands. Interference with your television as well. One channel or multiple channels not working. Static on the television is another telltale sign that there's some type of covert surveillance being performed on you and in your vicinity. And I'm just going to add another way to know that you're under surveillance is when you got a creepy man's voice on your live stream. Battlefield Your Brain says, I use a ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting with brain healthy supplement, high potassium, magnesium, zinc, omega 3, and a multi. Well, good for you. That's excellent. I mean, I have literally have a counter filled with vitamins that I rarely take because I forget. I get so busy. Tonight I took out a few, and I wonder if this is Hunger Games. Well, you know what? I actually never saw that film. So there are a lot of films that people say is reminiscent or symbolic of what we're going through, and I've never seen them. I actually, some of the ones that were recommended to me, I actually did view on YouTube. Hi, Joshua. Welcome, welcome. I've never seen the Hunger Games. Never seen it. I didn't see the Matrix until like a couple of years ago, and I didn't even watch the whole thing. I only saw the parts that were kind of symbolic. You tune the noise out. You can check out the Hunger Games. Best supplement I ever found is I have that chill. I don't even know how to pronounce that thing. I have it. It's the most disgusting tasting thing. It tastes like I'm eating like gooey tree bark. I have it. It's just sitting there on the counter. When I first bought it, these criminals scooped it out. That's what they do with everything I own. If I buy a new hand cream, they scoop it out. Get new face cream, they scoop it out. Toothpaste, empty it. Laundry detergent, empty part of that. The Hunger Games shows how they can program things into your reality. Well, they've programmed these stupid neighbors into my reality. I can't stand it. I need to move just because I can't stand these people. I literally, they disgust me. I can't be around these people. They're just horrible. I mean, it's bad enough I had stalkers in New Jersey. At least the stalkers in New Jersey lived in $500,000 houses, and they pretended to be normal. They pretended to be normal while they were stalking me. These people, they're not even pretending to be normal because they don't know how to be. They're not normal. I think that the perpetrators in New Jersey were just getting paid a lot more money. They were getting better perks. So another way that you know that you might be under surveillance is your television has suddenly developed a strange interference. The television broadcast frequencies are often used to cloak an eavesdropping signal, but such devices also tends to interfere with television reception, which is usually a UHF channel. Televisions also suck in a lot of RF energy, and because of this are very sensitive to any nearby transmitters, and this is technically called bandwidth, and TV signals use a lot of it. A small handheld television with a collapsible antenna may be used to sweep a room. Carefully watch for interference around the channel numbers 2, 7, 13, 14, channels 50 to 60, and 66 to 68, as these frequencies are very popular with eavesdroppers. This is true when signals were analog, and even truer today with terrestrial broadcast TV using digital signals. Then, of course, there's your landline phone, which I don't have anymore. Common clues that will reassure you that you are, in fact, the target of surveillance will include and start with irregularities in a landline phone or other electronics performances. Strange noises on your landline phone can be a sign of a wiretap or a bug. What kind of strange noises, you ask? Let's put it this way. If your phone is acting different from the way you're used to hearing it, chances are someone or some people are listening to your conversations on that phone and around that area. In fact, even when you hang up the phone, depending on the bug or tap, its range is limitless. No, I was going to. But I see something. I see what you're looking at. Yeah. Well, what I see is that it it says that there are 31 people in the chat, or at least people that are listening, and 24 thumbs up. So for anybody that hasn't hit the thumbs up, please do. Okay, so let's see. Whomever is listening can hear every single thing that is going on in the next room and in all your rooms. You might hear popping, clicking, humming, static, beeping, squealing, screeching, and scratching are typical observations. Strange sounds coming from your phone and volume changes can also alert you to covert eavesdropping methods being used against you. Sometimes your phone will make sounds seemingly on its own when it's on the hook. These could be signs of an eavesdropping device that allows other people to listen to conversations in the room even when the phone is not being used and has been placed back on the hook. Oh, good night, Casper. Oh, yes, I absolutely go through your vents. Like if you've got, central air conditioning, heating and air. Oh, Joshua says, I did a tarot reading on who put you on the TI list. I got Six of Pentacles, the Strength, the Eight of Swords in reverse, and then I asked for clarification and got the Death, Empress, and Ten of Swords. Oh, I'm gonna have to go through this again. He says, I think it was related to your divorce and a men's right group associated with your ex's lawyer. Well, I'm going to tell you who my ex's effing lawyer was. I hated that guy. I'll tell you what happened. After I got rid of my lawyers and I went back into court, literally, I was in court with my ex husband for so long. My divorce lasted 3.5 years, but then he wasn't paying support. So I had to go back into court repeatedly to reinforce what was originally decided. So sometimes I would hire an attorney, but most of the time I did it pro se. So this one time that I did it pro se, I was in a relationship with a guy, and he came with me to court. I was so focused because I had information against my ex-husband, and I hated his lawyer. His lawyer was so evil. He's the one that personality tested me. He was trying to get me back in the workforce rather than stay home with my daughter and start my business. But it backfired because the personality test clearly stated that I don't work well. I generally don't work well with people that are not as focused, organized, into the work as I am. And that I'm more likely to do better working on my own. So it kind of backfired. But what happened was to leave his 6-figure job and support him. So when I went into court that day with this creepo in Red Bank, New Jersey, I told the judge that I found his secret bank account, which I did, and that his lawyer was absolutely lying. And I went down a list of all the things that he was lying to the court about, and that I had proof. And I was furious and focused. And when I sat back down again and the whole thing was over, I had a lawyer approach me in the hallway, and she said that was the best performance I've seen in a long time. I said, that is no performance. I said, I cannot stand that lawyer. And she kind of nodded to me that a lot of people can't stand that lawyer. He was a bastard, just a bastard. And there was one time when I am sitting opposite him in the conference room of my former attorney. This is before I'm pro se. And he literally, we had a staring contest. And I looked at him and he was like so evil. And my ex boyfriend at the time had a bad vibe about him. That he actually went into Red Bank to walk by his office because this ex boyfriend, like, he's very intuitive also. And he said that there is something really evil about that lawyer. He couldn't really put his finger on it, but he said that there's something dark and evil about that lawyer. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But the one thing about my ex-husband is he did something really interesting to get even with his lawyer also. Is he filed bankruptcy. He filed bankruptcy, and in bankruptcy, he had all of his legal fees exonerated, gone. And I'm thinking, wow. So I went to the judge actually, and I said, guess what? My ex-husband filed bankruptcy. He's being supported by his new, his new wife, girlfriend, and now he actually has no legal fees and no bills to pay, which means all he has to do is pay his child support. And the judge agreed. So Joshua says, "Yeah, I think it was him." You think it was him? Yeah, he was an evil guy, very evil, but he's not the only evil lawyer out there. But that guy was definitely evil. And he knew a lot of people, and a lot of people knew who he was. He's been around a long time. And there's some people a lot of people don't like him. There are a lot of lawyers that don't like him. And that woman lawyer that approached me in the hallway was one of them. Why did my ex-husband choose him? That's a good question. I don't know. My ex-husband had some really bad lawyers. I don't know. I don't know who recommended him. Maybe it was his wife. I don't know. I mean, he was quite costly too, because Red Bank lawyers they're quite pricey. They're quite pricey. I think my ex-husband couldn't stand him either after a while. And when he filed bankruptcy, like I said, and bankruptcy, remember, it was different back then. I don't know if you can do that now. But back then, he was able to get all of his legal bills wrapped into his bankruptcy. So he ended up screwing that lawyer financially, which had to have been, I'm going to say, I have to tell you, I mean, and this is true, I paid $54,000 to the law firm that never divorced me. And then I hired another lawyer who didn't divorce me, and I paid her about $4,000. And then, in filing pro se, it is still expensive. The filing fees and the photo, the copying fees, my running back and forth all the time. I don't really know. I have a feeling that he was recommended by his girlfriend, who then turned into his wife. But he also had this other bad lawyer. I'll tell you how bad this lawyer was. And the lawyers are bad. This lawyer ended up having to fire this lawyer because she ended up getting arrested. She got arrested because, and I don't remember her name, but she had a nanny that she was not paying. She was an illegal person here. But what happened was she allowed this nanny to run errands for her with a vehicle, and she did not have a driver's license or anything like that. But when you're a hotshot lawyer, you can do anything you damn please. You can have an illegal nanny that you're not paying who drives without a license. Well, I think what happened was, I think that nanny got into a car accident. It all came out, and my ex had to fire her because she got arrested because she was literally, I can't say the word, the T word, like the traffic light word, and she was literally in a car accident, the nanny. And it wasn't until that happened that they realized that they were not even paying this nanny. This lawyer that was making all this money was not even paying her nanny. It was like a really big deal. So yeah, so my ex-husband had a lawyer like that, and then he had this other lawyer in Red Bank. I'm not going to say his name because he's a bastard. I normally would, but it's bad enough. I mean, I don't know who his friends are. That's the problem. You don't know who his friends are. But let me tell you, there are a lot of bad lawyers in New Jersey, and there are a couple of really bad judges too. Really bad. But let's see. Dream says, maybe the person you dated was a skit living next door. She's talking to MSQD. I broke things off with him. Dream You says, my lawyer and his lawyer ganged up against me and profited close to $1 million off your divorce. I believe you. I believe it. Divorce lawyers, they've got to be the worst lawyers on the planet. They're the worst because they know your balance sheet. Especially if there are children involved, they have to have this information to decide on custody issues, alimony, child support, and all of that. They're absolutely the worst. Con artist says, Dreamy, agree. Everyone in Lorraine's life has a connection to the program. But, fortunately or unfortunately, all those years that I was in court with my ex-husband, 3.5 years, to get a divorce. I'd been before so many judges, and back in the day, you would sit in a courtroom with all the other lawyers, all their other defendants and plaintiffs, and everybody would hear what's going on with you. It's not like that anymore. Where now, like one person kind of goes in at a time, and nobody else is listening to your stuff. SDL says, I appreciate you. You inspire me. You're a fucking warrior. You're tough and motivated to keep you fighting. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for doing that reading. I want to go back. Do you think you can email me the cards? Because I'm going to have to go back through the whole thing and look for those cards. I didn't write them down. But I absolutely believe that there was a lawyer involved. And you want to know, ironically, this is really... Now, I'm still friends with a lawyer in New Jersey who's been targeted. She just happened to work at the law firm that my ex-boyfriend recommended to me to use post-divorce. I mean, what is the likelihood for she and I, two targeted females in New Jersey, to have a connection with the same law firm? I absolutely believe that a lot of targeted people come into this program through being backstabbed by attorneys. I really do. Oh, thank you, Joshua. If you can take pictures and send them to me. I mean, I haven't read cards in a while since I'm living here because they actually stole my little deck of cards that I carried with me. They stole them. I had like them in a little velvet bag, and they stole them. But I have an eBay store, and I am a distributor for tarot cards. So I can get them wholesale, and then I resell them on eBay. So I have access to a lot of different cards. Um, yes, there are very little coincidences in this program. I was shocked. In fact, and this is so bizarre, that this lawyer was working at the law firm at the time that I hired the law firm. But the person that I hired at the law firm was not the person that placed my friend in the program. It was a different lawyer at that law firm, someone I don't know. And again, it was a jealousy thing. It was a jealousy thing. But I was in the legal system so long. I literally went before half the judges in the courthouse. Half of the judges. So many lawyers. And then after my divorce, I had to keep going back to the court because my ex-husband wouldn't pay support. So I went pro se. No, I experienced zero targeting, zero before the divorce. Other than, let me think about this a second, okay? Let me think a second, because there was something that happened when I worked in New York City, and I was in I graduated high school early, okay? Graduated high school early. I was like one of those honor students, So I graduated high school early. I go to work in New York City. I go to work at Teachers Insurance Company. And I'm like one of those people, like I get my work done really fast, and I'm one of those weird people that asks for more work. So I would go around to my coworkers and ask them if they had work for me to do, because I could not stand not being busy. I couldn't stand it. So there was a woman, no, a girl of a different ethnicity than myself who was really jealous of me. She waited for me one day after work and literally beat the shit out of me outside. I was so shocked that I was paralyzed. And in New York City, everybody stood around watching and did nothing. So I can't think of anything else other than that one incident, which is really bizarre, but that could happen to anybody. Or now, was I targeted then? I don't know. I think just that girl was just jealous of me and targeted me. And talk about how the workforce doesn't defend you. So what happened after that event? Obviously, I filed a police report, sent them photos of my injuries and all that stuff. And Teachers Insurance would not fire that girl. They said, oh, well, we'll let you come to work at a different entrance. Wait, well, let me see. Like, what was that sheriff bond you were speaking about? Okay. It's called a surety bond. A surety bond. Every sheriff must have a surety bond. It's like an insurance policy. It's an insurance policy they take out in case they're sued. It's like having an insurance policy. It's not a qualified immunity thing. It's attached to insurance and an insurance company. So I was pleased to finally get the copy of the surety bond, but the surety bond was associated with a former sheriff who has retired. But I learned about surety bonds, I guess, a couple of years ago by watching a YouTube video. It was actually someone who found the surety bonds on all these members of a board, like a community board, that were harassing and doing horrible things to this person. It was about a school and some teachers that were on the board and stuff that were targeting students or whatever. So this parent sued every person on the board, and this was all recorded somewhere online. You'll find it. Located the surety bonds on all these people and went to the meeting and hand delivered the complaint to each one of them as proof that they was hand delivered to them and that they were being formally sued, each and every one of them. So that's the way this individual delivered the lawsuit with a surety bond against each of those Board of Education members or something like that. Yeah, so it's like a little insurance policy. It's something that you can go after when you sue a sheriff or a member of the Board of Education. Let's see. Dream You. Many of our own culture do not realize they are TIs. Our culture, holds title to many hundreds of thousands of freehold, fee simple, non debt lands. Con says, dream, you developed and undeveloped land. And SCL says, I keep on a humidifier and a HEPA air purifier. Yeah, I've got one. I've got one in my bedroom. I've got one here. I'm in my office living room, and I've got one in the Cats building. Actually, there are two there. Conrad says, bond, correct. Not all judges will stand on their bonds. The people need to ensure the judge admits to the bonds and oaths of office. Okay, Elsie, good. Thank you for joining in. I'm going to be ending soon too because it's midnight here. And thank you everybody for joining. But let's see, what else do we have? Do you have any suggestions aside from opening windows in January? I have puffy eyes, dry throat, short breath. You need to stay hydrated. You need to take Epsom salt baths. You need to use eye drops and eye wash. For a dry throat, you can get a salt inhaler. And they have Manuka honey cough drops. It's really nice. It has like the honey like stuck inside of the, it's in the middle of the cough drop. Or just, take a scoop of honey, any kind of honey. Yeah, I use castor oil on my eyes, on my toes, on my hands. The best castor oil is in the glass bottle. The Manuka honey is. I love honey, and the Manuka honey is really good. It's very good. The Manuka honey has more nutrients in it than regular honey, but you can apply honey to your skin also. It's just gooey. It's very gooey, and of course it's sweet. Oh, good night, good night. I'm going to be hanging up here too. I just want to answer any more questions that you have here. I just wanted to add also, just to read this last part here. If you have noticed strange sounds or volume changes on your phone lines, this is commonly caused by an amateur eavesdropper when they attach a wiretap or activate a similar listening device. Surveillance devices often cause slight anomalies on the telephone line and a volume shift or dropout. Professional eavesdroppers and peeping toms and peeping janes, professional eavesdroppers and their equipment usually do not make such noises. So if this is going on, it could indicate that an amateur eavesdropper is listening in. On the other hand, you could simply be experiencing a flaw in the line, but you should just check it out. If you have noticed static, popping, scratching on your phone lines, this is caused by the capacitive discharge, which occurs when two conductors are connected together, such as a bug or wiretap on a phone line. This is also a sign that an amateur eavesdropper or poorly trained spy is playing with your phone lines. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Let's see. That's the link to the video Lorraine made of the collective emails with random comments. Sounds are coming from your phone handset, then it's hung up. This is often caused by a hook switch bypass, which turns the telephone receiver into an eavesdropping microphone, also a speaker. There is probably someone listening to everything you say or do within 20 feet of the telephone if this is happening. Your phone often rings and nobody's there, or a very faint tone, or a high-pitched squeal or beep is heard for a fraction of a second. Then this is an indicator of a slave device, or a line extender being used on your phone line. This is also a key indicator of a harmonica bug or infinity transmitter being used. Of course, it may also be nothing more than a fax machine or a modem calling the wrong number. If you hear a tone on your line when your phone is on the hook by using an external amplifier, you can check for something like this if you have to obtain a recorder starter interface with a Vox option or some kind of high gain audio amplifier such as a UAMP AMP or Kaiser 1059. Then with the phone hang up, listen to your telephone wiring. If you hear a faint, solid, dual tone, it is a dead giveaway of someone using a slave eavesdropping device on your or one of your neighbor's telephone lines. Such devices create a command tone when the subject hangs up the phone, so you must ensure that all of your phones are hung up. On an added note, the most common command tones for illicit eavesdropping devices are 2100 hertz and D as in dog, T as in Tom, M as in Mary, F as in Frank, hyphen C as in Charlie, but any tone combination may be used. And there's a website that they gave here, http www.tscm.com/warning signs.html. So we're going to end on that note. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Thank you, SDL, for the tarot reading and thinking that it has to do with my ex-husband's lawyer, which is quite possible. What's the book? Oh, the book. Oh, this is a good book, actually. It is, and I'll write the name of the book in the description, but it's called How to Deal with and Defeat Gang Stalkers by Chomi, Chomi, Prag, Prag. Chomi Prag. It's a nonfiction book written by Chomi Prag. She is an attorney and a targeted individual and an expert in the field of gang stalking. She decided to write this book in order to show others, through her own experiences, how to stand up and fight against the pathetic tactics and people that gang up on a single person, without judging why an individual is being targeted, since her opinion is that no one should be bullied by a group of people for any reason. She provides emotional support, wisdom, and non-legal as well as legal tactics to survive the growing phenomenon of gang stalking, also known as group stalking, organized stalking, and mobbing, and to actually beat the perpetrators at their own stupid games. Yeah, so it's a thin book. It's not numbered because she specifically says in the book that they stole her book from her a couple of times and that she had to rewrite it like from scratch and very quickly. She didn't have time to proofread it or write the book numbers or whatever. It's probably about, I'm going to say, it's maybe about 40 or 50 pages. Oh, you have that book and haven't read it yet. It's a good little book. It's very handy, and I like the fact that she's an attorney and that she's targeted. Yeah, she's a lawyer. Yep, she's an attorney. A lot of attorneys are targeted, and the ironic part about it is the attorneys that are targeted are often targeted by attorneys. They're nominated by other attorneys that they work with. It's disgusting. Yeah. Let's see. Conrad says AI-enabled phones are now capable of sharing data between other AI phones in the close community without the user's awareness. And Matson says they dermal coat my tub shower, so I stopped soaking, but I've retired in the last 2 weeks and I'm home now, so it's harder for them to coat everything as much. Oh, good, good. Scrub your shower with borax. It's slightly abrasive and it can get the film off, whatever film they put on there. And you could also use magic erasers, really get that disgusting coating off. Magic erasers. Let's see. When those gangsters mob you at the store, hold the door open for them and greet them. They love that. Oh, you want the title once again? Okay. It's called How to Deal with and Defeat Gang Stalkers by Chomi. I'll write. This is the author. Let me write it in the chat. 1 second. Chomi Prag. It's a very thin book. It's a black cover, and in the center there's like flames. It's a very thin book. I mean, it's a good reference book. For anybody that has a family member that doesn't believe you, buy them this book. It's a perfect little book, so easy to understand, and because it's written by a lawyer, your friends and family might more readily believe what they're reading because it's written by an attorney. It's a good little reference book. But anyway, thank everybody for joining in. I really appreciate it. And I've got to go check outside and see if my cat Popcorn decided to come back. I saw him outside earlier. He refused to go in the house, and it's going to be in the 20s, and we're supposed to have some snow early in the morning. And I want to see if I can get him in. But good night, everybody, and I will talk to you in the next video.